is so wonderful. Many thanks to you for that. So if we could take a moment now and just kind of go around and introduce ourselves. You definitely did a wonderful job. If you want to say more, please feel free. Just would like to get an idea of the folks attending and what brought you here. And I want to make sure, do my best to make sure your needs are met in the time that we have. So,
I'm Rahima, and I am also a mother. I have 2 grown daughters and an amazing, soon to be 4-year-old grandson, who is the love of my life. He is. I love those girls, but my grandson, and do you want to know what we do for a living?
Sure, whatever you'd like to share about yourself.
Okay. I am currently off work for an injury. I work in transportation, and I'm seeking alternative ways of feeling better, as opposed to they want to give me a cortisone shot and I don't want it, and they're adamant that I should have it. I didn't tell you.
Yeah.
And then there's this other one where I think they said something like take your blood and do something with it and put it back in your body at the place of the injury, and that's supposed to be good for you. I never heard it before. I just heard about it. I don't want to do that either. So I'm looking into yoga, and I've been passing by this place for about 3 years now. Because weren't you guys down there at one point?
It was for the other
Right.
street.
So when it was
Point,
down there,
yes,
and when you
yes,
guys moved here, I'm really proud of your building here. So I'm really happy to be here.
I'm very happy to have you.
Say your name again.
Samsara.
Samsara. That's a beautiful name.
And she's also looking for great alternative things to do with her grandson.
With my grandson for health. Yeah.
Yes, we'll talk about that. And our other sister's going to talk more in depth.
Yeah, she told me. I'm really
It's
excited
going to
about
be
that too.
fabulous. And you, Mama.
Thank you. I'm Julia. This is Rosalie. She's 6 months old. I also have a son who's 2 and a half. I'm here for self-care. I've known Elika over 3 years, meeting her in prenatal yoga when my son was in my belly, and mama baby yoga, and I've hosted her at my house, and now with my daughter, and I'm just, as she's coming more and more to life, and not as attached to me, being 6 months, I'm looking to pouring some love back on myself, the self-care piece, and for this workshop, the wisdom that I'm seeking. In the last week or 2, my son has started to hit her, and she's only 6 months, so the first few months he was very indifferent, he's very easygoing, just, she'd cry, he'd come to me, milk, she needs milk, very sweet, and my husband and I are just kind of at a loss for what to do. My husband freaks out, that's what he does, yelling, and we never really yell, and so I'm just trying to go on my instinct of, I want him to stay in the situation and show kindness, and I try to model how we can help her grow and still give him attention, and so it's really hard.
How old is your son, ma'am?
2 and a half. Yeah, they're just 2 years apart, so I know that's a difficult age. So
Yeah.
and I also feel now as mothers of boys, we have such a responsibility to, or I feel it's my calling to raise a man with kindness and sensitivity to his sister, all sisters, all women. So yeah, but I'm excited to hear what you have to say, and I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you. So you want to introduce yourself behind the camera?
Sure. I'm Kayla. I'm a doula. I'm one of Ms. Samsara's students, and I'm a doula with the Schiffer Circle Community Doula Program. Yes, that's all. Oh, and also, my great-grandmother is Rosalie, and usually when I'm in right places, there's someone sitting next to me named Rosalie.
That has power. That has lots of power. Yes, so I'm very grateful to Kayla for videoing. for sharing yourselves. So this definitely helped me to kind of tailor things. This workshop was initially going to be a workshop around talking about how one can meditate with one's children. And then the election happened. And then, although I do think it's a very important thing for folks with kids to be able to, we have this culture is one of separating parents and kids. So the adults go dance somewhere, the kids don't dance with the adults. Everyone's separate, the men and women are separate, singles and families are separate. And then what I see in healthy cultures is that everyone's together. You know, you go into a dancing environment. It's not necessarily a club where people are drinking and smoking, but they're community gatherings where people of all ages are together dancing. Pregnant women with their babies, people falling in love, maybe meeting at the dance, who get married the next year. You know, that's more the way things work. And in this culture, the more separate we become, the more frantic and alone we are, because we need each other. You know. And how do you see this?
Oh my.
Really?
Can we go a little bit over?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll
We
be,
have 5 minutes for food and break, but you can just keep talking.
okay, if that's okay with everybody?
Yes.
Okay, so I will be abbreviated, but I will not miss anything. So initially this class was going to be about meditating with your kids, and I felt called to go back to a workshop that I actually gave about 20 years ago, because the sense of anxiety that I had within myself at the election that had happened was through the roof. So I had to do a lot of work, use my own tools to kind of bring myself back into sync. And I was getting many phone calls from my families, my pregnant ladies. I'm already processing in the African American community the sorrow of moms of color who find out that they're having sons. And I'm so grateful that we have a song that started out singing to a little brown boy. That it's really important for families to have tools that will help them to get through the years to come with as little despair as possible. And that seems crazy. It seems crazy that when things are so out of control and when everything is in so much pain that we shouldn't be crazy too. And that's the challenge, to not get swept downstream. If we can't ground ourselves, then our babies don't have a chance at all. And it's my opinion, from having raised a bunch of sons, is that boys are even more sensitive to the distress in the world in a certain way than our little girls. And we can debate that all we want to, but I just, just looking in the world, we can see women have a target. Males are targeted, whatever color they are. Males are targeted. Some are targeted more than others. And I do believe, just briefly, the fact that a little girl is born with all of her eggs inside of her body gives her an extra level of ground.
All of her, what out of her?
All of her eggs, all your
Eggs,
little daughters,
yes.
your grandchildren are sleeping in your daughter. So, which I love. And which we should tell more little girls. So I think it'll help with choices about body and love,
And we'll tell boys too.
we need to tell boys too. It's a different path for them, but yes, we should have them all love themselves. So I want to pass this out because I might not be able to go over every point due to time. Excuse me for doing that. But here's basically everything that I wanted to share with you. And we're going to go through it kind of, I won't barrel through it, but I will hit the key points of it. I'm giving an invitation for all parents to perceive themselves as mystics. And a mystic is a person who walks through this earth, who's on the earth, but not of the earth. Not of it. Meaning, the things that are coming at us that don't serve our highest good, we can kind of witness them and let them blow past us. We only get to see, we only choose to see on a daily basis what is real, what is authentic. and that is love and loving bonds between ourselves and other people. So as we walk through our life, as we go through our day, if something is not love, then we get to observe it, take defensive posture if we need to. Tai Chi, it will go past us. And when it comes to our children, it's our duty to be the barrier. So if something is coming at us that is not love, our job as parents, in my opinion, is to place ourselves between that and and sometimes we have to do that in the face of our mothers and grandmas and other people in the community who feel that we should trust, telling us that that's the way to go. So what's the problem with the kid eating, catfish? What's the problem with your 6-year-old having a What's the problem with your kid looking at this violent movie? There's a big pressure within a parent to kind of go with whatever the flow is, especially if the flow comes from like TV and people with white coats and people who know better. What I would like to give parents is the understanding that since yourself and your partner made this child, then yourself and your partner are the experts on your child. Otherwise, that connection would not have been made and that child would not have come through you. Then it goes even deeper when sometimes parents have to stand against the other parent and be strong with the fact that they know what they're doing, what they're offering is coming from love. And so maybe even the other parent might need some loving instruction on what's going down. And in that case, I kind of tip a little bit more towards the mother being the matriarchal person. But I've certainly seen situations where the father is setting a love and light and the mother is not. So the parents have to work that dance out between them. And if both people ultimately are working out of the best and highest good for that child, a resolution can be found. When I work with people as a family life coach, that's my job, is to help both parents see the best and highest intention for the child, not their ego desires, but what is best and right for the child or children that they're raising. Very different thing. This culture runs by the child, it should be like an addendum to the parent. And the parent gets to have their life back as soon as they have the child. I kind of have a problem with that. You have invited this spirit being into your life, and your life is forever changed. For the better, one would hope. For the better. And if we lived in a sane society, it would be, but we don't. We live in a society where money is the key, and making corporations lots of money is our purpose. Right? So what are the tools that a parent needs to be able to let go of all of this fluff, all of this static, and to just be there for the incredible needs of a human child. Every human child really needs about 50 people. And we have families where there's 2 people, bless them, trying to do this, or one person alone trying to do this. It's impossible. It really is.
That's right.
It's impossible. And to blame people for not being able to do it is one of the biggest sins that there is in the culture that we live in. This one little beautiful being could have 50 people at her beck and call every day, and she'd be fine. She'd be fine. 100 more could come in, she'd be fine too.
50.
Right? It's lovely. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, what does it take to be a mystic? A mystic is one who can forgive the past, who can be present in the day, in the moment, in the second. One who can accept and choose the unknown. And the one who can choose to live in co-creation with God, however we perceive that word. So whatever the creative life force is, however we see that, we want to co-create with it. To be a mystic parent, being aware is the key. to be aware of your own needs, and to be aware of your needs with regard to your own inner healing. The best thing that any parent can do to be an amazing and exemplary parent is to heal themselves. And to know that we were birthed by imperfect people who did the best they could. And the best they could is probably not enough for most of us, because we didn't live in that village with 50 persons per child. And we didn't live in that village where the elders were there giving sound advice. You know, we had guys in white coats subsidized by corporations telling parents what to do. Oof. That's what we had. Okay. So, all that being said, there's some work to be done. The best thing for us to do is to kind of accept that. Looking at our family of origin, we might see multi-generations of abuse and neglect. African American folks, we have to heal what's done to us when our people were enslaved. European folks have to heal what happened to them because their ancestors were enslavers. What messages were we given about prosperity and success? Issues of race, sex, and class. All of these things may have left us with wounds that we need to have to pay attention to in order to be fully present, be who we are, who we are meant to be on this journey on the planet. The mystic parent gets to understand that all of these circumstances are an opportunity for growth and completion. Nothing for us to hang our heads in shame about, but for us to overcome and face. And in order to do that, we need to develop a solid support system to assist us in our desire to parent consciously. Because the keynote of the culture is to be unconscious in all things, including parenting. So we need help and create that community, hopefully of 50 or more people, that's going to help us stay present. Because that process of staying present is sometimes really painful. Childbirth is an example. It was one of those things that we need to do as consciously as possible. I'm going to wrap up, darling. It's one of those things we have to do as consciously as possible. And if we open to the consciousness, it hurts more. But if we can be there with the pain, they're blessings, and we're bigger people than before, right? So under here, I give some examples of things that can be helpful for parents in being conscious every day. A spiritual home, parents groups, supportive family and friends, men's groups, women's groups, 12-step programs, counseling and therapy. I'm gonna leave you the other page to take a look at on your own, but I will close this session with a phrase from Carl Jung, which is, it's important for us to understand that the most damaging thing to any child is the unlived life of its parent. And I'll end this here, and thank you for being here. If you have